Okay, last week we finished with a basic model. We had floors and walls, roofs, and a couple of doors and windows. We talked about the interface, looking at level 1 as being our floor plan and keeping it within these elevation markers, and just exploring the different commands that you can use in Revit, using your wheel of your mouse to zoom and pan by rolling or pushing it down and holding it. Or in the 3D view over here in the project browser, we can hold our shift key and our wheel of our mouse to orbit. Those kind of things are in the first assignment. So go back there, finish that one before you work on this one so that you can have something to work with. In this one, we're going to be in the level 1 floor plan, and this is the goal for today. We're going to look at walls and duplicating them so that we can customize them for ourselves. We'll work on an exterior wall and an interior wall so we can set up our drawings. And then we're going to insert some families, different windows, doors, and furniture. Put some room names in there, throw some dimensions in just so that you can get a little bit of each for some practice. And then optionally, I might have time on this video or maybe create another one to show you how to load all the families into your system instead of going through to pick up each one through Autodesk. All right, let's get started. So we have these generic walls that we've been using for the exterior walls. When you click right on it, you can see over here that it's a basic wall generic 8. So anytime that you want to swap out a wall or a door, you can select it and then come over to properties here and just pick which one you want it to be. So we're going to start with, here, scroll up, the exterior exterior brick on metal stud, right there. So we're going to click on exterior brick on metal stud. And what you'll see is that that wall is going to be thicker because we're using a preset wall of that's made up of these layers. So what we're going to do is go in there inside the wall and change the layers of the wall material. So to do that, we're going to pick edit type right underneath here, that wall type. We're going to duplicate it, which means we're going to copy that one and make our own. So we're going to duplicate it. And what we're going to do, the only difference that we're going to do is change this from a 6-inch stud to a 4-inch stud. So I'm going to take out 2, and this is just the name of it. So exterior brick on, I'm going to put right there after on 4-inch metal stud. So this is our customized wall with the layers that we want. Let's go ahead and pick OK. The only difference is this one's going to say 4-inch because the original one is 6-inch. Let's go ahead and pick OK. And now, because we duplicated it, there's the new name. Under structure here, we're going to click on that huge button right there that says edit. Go ahead and click on edit. Now what we're looking at here is, and you can resize this dialog box by putting your pointer at the bottom there and pulling your mouse down. We're looking at all the layers that go from the exterior side to the interior side. If you want to have a preview or look at a preview of that, you can click on the button at the bottom left called preview, and there it is, showing you all the different layers. It says right here, exterior side. So each time that you pick one of these objects or layers of structure, you'll be able to, see which one it is as you go in this preview here. You can zoom here closer or away from it as well. So the idea here is that we're going to just do like a quick introduction to this instead of creating a whole other one, because you can insert layers and you can move them up and down in this list. You can delete out layers. All that we're going to do here is we're going to change the structure. So anytime you have like that main material, like this metal stud, you're going to have this core boundary that says that that material goes through all the different intersections and doesn't like wrap right on the outside. And you can see that all of these are different functions depending on what they are. So we have the finishes and the insulation and the membranes and the plywood. So the only thing we're going to change here is the structure metal stud. We're going to change that to 4-inch. So we're just going to right here change the 6 to 4. But I wanted to, show this to you as a way to let you know that you can duplicate any one of these walls and start to create your own. Let's go ahead and pick OK. And we're going to go ahead and pick OK again. And you'll see that the wall changes slightly. So we know that the brick is on the outside. We said last week that as long as these arrows are here, then you know that it's on the outside. So what we can do is we can select each one, or you can hold your control key down and select all 3 of these. Click, click, click. So you have all 3 of these outside walls. Then you can drop this list down of properties, scroll back up, and find that new one that you just made, exterior brick on 4-inch stud. And you see that it changes to that thickness. Now, one thing, we're going to be working with interior walls as well, but we don't see any of those layers because at the bottom left corner, there's an icon there that's called detail level right there. Right now, the detail level is coarse, so we don't want to see all the layers that are inside the wall. Maybe when we print, it'll be too small of a scale, and we don't want to see all of that. But if we do, we can just change this to medium. You see what happens? You change this to medium, and then now you can actually see what's inside the wall, all the layers that are inside the wall. It's just a visual view of it. Okay, let's place some interior walls. We can click on the wall icon over in the architecture tab at the top left, and then drop this list down. You'll see that it should say brick still, so drop your list down and go down to this interior 4 7/8 partition. We're going to change that so that we can use a 1/2-inch drywall. So click on this basic wall interior 4 7/8 partition, 1 hour, and pick edit type. There it is. So we want to duplicate it first. So the first thing we want to do is like make a copy of it so that we can change it. We can pick duplicate. And then for the name of it, we just want to say interior. I'm just going to take all this out and make it interior metal stud 1/2-inch drywall. You could make it whatever you want, but that's going to tell everyone that it's a metal stud with 1/2-inch drywall. You might make it something else. I've made it the name of whatever project it is so that that's the wall that we're using for that specific project for interior. So let's go ahead and pick OK. So now that we've made this metal stud 1/2-inch drywall, we can click on the edit button right there and see that we have the metal stud already as a structure. So the only thing we're changing here is the gypsum wall board or drywall to 1/2-inch. Make sure that you have that little inches there because we said that if you don't have the inches, it's going to be feet. So we want to have a 1/2-inch. So the only thing we did with this one is we duplicated it and we changed the drywall on the finish for the exterior and the interior to a 1/2-inch thickness. Let's go ahead and pick OK and pick OK. And now we're ready to place these interior walls. Now your project's a little different than mine, but I think let's just verify that we have the height up to level 2. That's what this is up here. And when we draw, we want it to draw with a chain of walls in case we wanted to draw several at one time. And we'll just go ahead and start placing a few. So I'm going to click here, pull my mouse straight down and click here. You decide on how you want your walls to work on the inside. I just put a couple in there so that I can create a couple of walls. Okay, So at this point, you have the exterior walls, you have the interior walls. We changed those, so now you know how to do that. Just as a reminder, the whole ribbon is green and has all these colors. So you have to press the modify button at the top left to like cancel out of everything, or use the escape key, or right click and pick cancel several times to get back to where, the ribbon is completely colorless here, where you can still, you're not inside of a command. So at this point, we've changed the walls and added interior walls. So what we want to do is load additional here doors and windows in a few pieces of furniture before we start to place them, because we already saw last week we only saw one or two in there. So let's go to insert, and Autodesk doesn't automatically load the families. So if you go to insert and pick load family, I did this. I actually loaded this. Yours will not look like this. And after the lecture, is done, optionally, I'm going to create a video to show you how to load these in. You would probably only have 2 folders, which I just had a few minutes ago. So what you would need to do is go to insert, and what they're recommending is to go to load Autodesk family, because if you load all those families, you're going to have all the families in your laptop. I prefer them to be there, but you might want to keep the file size down, or your computer, clean. So let's go to load Autodesk family. You should see all these categories, and so find the category for door and click on that. And then you'll see all these doors that you can load. You're loading them in. So I'd like you to load at least one, new door that's different than what that default door is, whether it's a pocket door or, an exterior door. I'm going to hold my control key down and select here this exterior door and maybe one of these interior doors. But you feel free to get whatever you'd like in this list to load doors. Let's go ahead and pick load. And now at this point, you can decide on what size you want for your door. This one's an exterior. If I was to pick OK, it would just give you a default one. So let's just say that you'd like to have a 36-inch door. It's 3 feet by 6'8". But you can select as many as you want, and you pick OK. And then it'll ask you for the other door. So maybe the other door is a double door. So maybe you want it to be bigger. It's like a French door. Maybe it's going to be the 6 foot wide one by 6'8". So you want to highlight that and pick OK. You can hold your control key down if you want to select more than one. Let's go ahead and pick OK. So now that those doors are loaded, we can go over to the architecture tab, click on the door icon right there. Once you load it, they're there. You don't have to load them again. They stay in your file, and there they are in the drop down. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these exterior doors. Remember from last week, when you go to place the door, you can press and let go of the space bar to kind of like flip it. But at the same time, you can also just pull your mouse over the pointer to the outside or the inside, and then use here the space bar to click and put that door in there. Right, there's that door. I can drop this list down and click on this other door, and then come over here. Maybe I'd like the French doors to be between these two. I'm just going to go ahead and click there. There's just your French doors. Use your escape key to get out of that, or pick the modify button at the top left. Just as a reminder, and you go ahead and put more doors in this, and you want to be able to get into this space. If you click on the doors, you can still use these arrows to kind of flip the direction of the door. So same thing with this one. Now let's go back and put a different window. So we'll go to insert, and then we'll go to load Autodesk family. We're going to need to go back. So go back to like the main list of categories, scroll down to windows at the bottom, and then you can scroll down in these 106 different results. For windows, if you go down far enough, you'll be able to see some of these bay windows and casement windows. Casement are the ones that kind of like crank open. Some typical ones are the are the double hung windows. So maybe you want to have some sliding double windows here. They're towards the bottom of the list. I'm just going to highlight that one, but you can go ahead and get creative and put in whatever type of windows that you'd like, at least one, to go through this assignment. We're going to highlight this, whatever window you pick, and pick load. And then again, what size do I want? Well, I'd like it to be pretty big, so I'm going to pick this 6 foot wide one here, 3 foot high, and pick OK. Now I just loaded it into this family, and now that I loaded it, I can go back over to architecture and pick on window. And most of the time it'll put it right at the top, but now you have that one loaded. And so you can come over to your drawing and start to place it. Now, if you click and these little arrows are on the inside, you're going to need to click on the arrows to get that arrow on the outside. So I just put that one there. Maybe I'll put one here too. Use your escape key to get out of that, or click on the modify button up there at the top left. See what happens if I click on this window. Make sure those little arrows are on the outside for the window and for the wall, because if we don't, we're going to need to flip it over. You'll see drywall on the outside. Okay, so furniture. Let's go get a couple pieces of furniture. We can go up to insert, go to load Autodesk families. You'll have to go back to all results and then go down to furniture. A lot of different pieces of furniture here. You can go ahead and customize your project. I think I'm going to stick with there's a table here, and this dining room table is kind of cool. But I think what I might do is hold my control key down and get the dining room table and a sofa. Here's a nice looking sofa right here. But you can get whatever you want. I think that sofa, and there's a well, there's a TV stand and a TV, but if you put the TV on there, we'll have to take a look at where it ends up, because sometimes it ends up on the floor and we have to move it up. But I'm gonna get some things, right? Sofa and a table. Maybe I think there's another chair. Yeah, here it is, that like matches that Corbu one. That's Le Corbusier, French architect, Corbu designs. There's all kinds of different ones in here. Let's go ahead and pick load. I got a chair. I got a couch and a chair and a dining room table. And now, instead of using the door and the window icons, go back over to architecture. This is that next one called component. So we'll go up to component right here at the top left and click on that little arrow to go down to place a component. You're placing a component, and the components are these, these pieces of furniture that you loaded. If you look at the drop down, it might have loaded different sizes for those tables. Like, notice this one right here has 4 chairs, and it's smaller. But if you go up to 60 inch, see that? A little bit bigger. So you have kind of a range of different chairs and furniture. I'm going to go ahead and grab the sofa. We really should start to establish here a space so that we can create a camera view. I'm going to put the sofa here. And then I'll put a table here, maybe a little bit bigger. You guys can go ahead and decide on your own on your design. I'm doing this fairly quickly so that I can keep going on this video. But I'm using my space bar to kind of move it around, and there it is. So I might want to click on this table and drag it over here into the space as I'm designing, or I can click on it and just delete it. You can either click delete on the keyboard, or there is a little red X right there, just a small one for delete. Or you can see that you can type in DE as well. There. All right. So that's what we did. We're doing for this week so far. We created duplicates of the exterior and the interior walls and customized them. We also loaded wall, window, door, and furniture, and inserted them into our drawings. Let's take a look at. I think we're going to save dimensions for another day. Yep. We're going to, though, put the room names in so that we can customize our names, room names. So here we want to go up to room. There's a room icon right there. Click on that. And then bring your pointer into that room. It's going to kind of read the space. So here's that one, and then there's that one. Now, what if I don't want this whole room to be one big space? I'm going to set it up here as my room for the whole space, but then I'm going to exit or escape or pick the modify button to get out of that, because I want to be able to draw a room separator right here. So maybe this is the living room and the kitchen, and I want to be able to put another title. So I'm going to click on room separator. With the room separator, you're just really drawing a line that separates the two rooms. But now I just clicked a point, pull my mouse over and click a point. I'm going to need to move this window over. So I clicked on it. I held my left mouse button and dragged it up here. I'm sure I'm going to have to put another window in here. But that's something that you guys can do as you customize this project on your own. I'm going to go up to now room again, and you see how by putting that room separator, now I have the ability to put two different room tags. I'm going to go ahead and escape out of that. Now I want to be able to customize these, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this tag here, room tag, and then click on the name itself. Put your cap locks on and call this whatever you're designing. Bedroom 1. I didn't put a bathroom in here either. So maybe that is just the bedroom. Okay. Yeah. And then over here, I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to click again and put that this is going to be the bathroom. And then over here, maybe this is going to be the kitchen, little studio apartment, like the one I had in Chicago, similar, actually less rooms. And then here is the living room. You customize it the way that you'd like. Now, these are just titles. I might have to drag this one over. So I selected it, and then you see this little like double arrow thing. I'm going to go ahead and hold my left mouse button down, drag it over a little. There. Now, I might not want these room numbers, because room numbers we use a lot with commercial buildings, but let's just say this is a house. I'm just giving you these options. I've used Revit for both in huge projects, but hey, look, if I just click on one of them, I'm going to come up here in properties. This is where you can change some things. And I want to change all of them. So what do I want to do? I want to go into edit type. So I selected one of my room tags. I'm going to click edit type. And here, the only thing we're doing is we're taking the check mark out of show room number. So we're going to take the check mark out of show room number, because we want that to be done on this room tag. And we're going to go ahead and pick OK, and there it goes. We took the check mark out, so now we won't see that room number. So this is how we get to a point where we have rooms, doors, customized walls. There are a couple of other things I want to mention to you. Just like using this icon to look at the layers inside the wall, the icon, the scale that's next to it, 1/8 inch right there, is determining your text height. So this is for an 1/8 inch, but take a look at what happens when you select 1/4 of an inch. You see how the text gets smaller because your drawing is going to be bigger because it's 1/4 of an inch, equal to foot when you print it. So we had an 1/8 inch, that was 1/4 inch. If you wanted to go with something a little bit bigger, which you won't, but it depends. It depends on your project, to be honest. I picked a 1/16 of an inch. I'm just going to go back to an 1/8 inch, but I wanted to point this out to you that this scale at the bottom left corner controls your text or your annotation. Okay, well, we accomplished what we needed to do. Here we're almost at 20 minutes. I'm going to create a second video for loading all of those families as an optional thing for you to do. I like doing it, but not everybody would want to do that. Maybe you just want to pick out the ones that you need. So that's what we did. We created duplicates of the walls and customized them for the exterior and interior. We loaded window, door, and furniture, different ones, and used those families. We added the room names and talked about scale and showing the detail of those walls. And so I'm going to create another video that shows you how to load the families directly into your system so that when you come over here and you pick load family, you'll have them here in your system instead of going over to the categories. It's completely up to you. Completely up to you. Okay, I think, and remember that you can click on these walls and change the location of them just by dragging them or clicking inside this number and typing in how many feet that you want. Maybe I wanted this to be 20 feet, so I'm going to type in 20 and enter. Remember, if I wanted it to be 20'6", I would type in 20 space 6. And so that you can practice that a little bit as well. Okay, then have a great week and good Labor Day weekend. We're going to have Monday off for that. And keep in touch if you need anything, if you need help. I'm going to be on campus a few times that we can set up an appointment, or I can work with you remote. Just let me know ahead of time so that you're not trying to get all of this done towards the end of the semester. You want to try to keep on track as much as you can. All right, take care and have fun.